After 7 weeks of testimony and 34 witnesses, the jury officially came up with their verdict in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. The jury delivered a mixed verdict, meaning Combs was cleared of the most serious allegations but found guilty on others. He was found not guilty on the racketeering conspiracy charge, which is the RICO count accusing him of running a criminal enterprise. He was also found not guilty on both counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. These were allegations that he trafficked his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, and another woman testifying under the name Jane. He was found guilty on 2 lesser counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, 1 count related to Cassie Ventura, and 1 related to Jane. So in short, Diddy beat the major charges of racketeering and sex trafficking, but the jury convicted him on 2 prostitution-related offenses. The split decision is hugely significant. He had faced possibility of life in prison if found guilty on all counts, but now he's looking at a maximum of 10 years for each of the 2 counts, up to 20 years instead. However, it's also been reported that he could get 2 to 10 years, and even then, we're not exactly sure how much of this he would serve. Inside the courtroom, it's being reported that observers noted Combs' feet were shaking with nerves while the jury foreman began announcing the decisions. When he first heard not guilty on the biggest charge, which was racketeering, Combs let out a slight fist pump in relief. There were also gasps in the gallery at that moment. He continued staring straight ahead, trying to stay composed as the court read the remaining counts. Upon hearing the first guilty verdict, witnesses saw him rub his forehead and clench his jaw from that outcome. Diddy's family members, who have also been reported to have been at court every single day, showed signs of relief as they listened to the verdict as well. So what's next for Diddy and the official release date? The decision has not been made on Combs' release date. Instead, the judge said he would consider the arguments from both sides and decide later whether Combs could be freed pending sentencing. He allowed both sides to submit written arguments this afternoon, basically giving the defense and the prosecution a few hours to convince him one way or the other. The announcement set off a brief, lighthearted exchange that Combs didn't want to return to the jail in Brooklyn. Seizing the moment, he shook his head and he said no and put his hands together, making a prayer plea, looking at the judge. The defense proposed a $1 million bail bond and other restrictions to ensure that Combs would appear for his sentencing. Prosecutors, on the other hand, they pushed back firmly, saying that he was still convicted of 2 federal felonies and faces up to 20 years in prison. As of now, the judge's final decision on bail is still pending. It's being reported that Diddy left the courtroom smiling, showing his intent to go home after this brutal trial. However, the judge's decision on bail and an upcoming sentence hearing still hangs over his future. So we will